Hello, Lenny!
Hello. Okay, so this video has been filmed a week early, and next week, so for everyone viewing will be last week, me and Joe are going to be judging a Battle of the Bands. So what better of a time to talk about Battle of the Bands? This is a topic that we have mentioned before in a video that we called Advice for Bands. I'll link it up there. We discussed Battle of the Bands a little bit from a comment that had been made, and they said that the reward, the prize for winning the Battle of the Bands would be a record label like 5 Seconds of Summer, or it was something along the lines of that. They referred to the record deal as being like 5 Seconds of Summers, which is completely not true. There's many different levels of record deals, and we've talked about them in a video about record deals. I'll link that up there. This is just become a plug for other videos. Right, content, let's provide some. So in the first video that we made, we stated that if there's an entry fee for the competition, then avoid it. And that's still very, very true. If you have to pay to get into a competition, that's not good, is it? Like, that's not, I don't know. Because this is now just open up for discussion with you, Joe.
Oh.
Like, say for example, skateboard competitions, right? Because that's something that,
I know of them.
yeah. You have to pay to get into those, but they're still fair and they're still thing, but the entry fee, and then everyone's entry fee added up becomes the prize money. So maybe it's not a bad thing to pay for it, but the thing with prizes still sticks, so I'll stick to that. This is what the industry is supposed to be. That's what this series is. It's more of a, not a definite answer, a bit more of a discussion. So that leads perfectly on to the next point, which is about promoters. Now, as a band, you probably do this as a hobby. You do it as something that you do for fun. You do it with your mates because it's fun. A promoter does it as their job. And that means that they have to earn money. They have to earn money to pay bills. They have to earn money to live day-to-day life. This is what they do for a living. Therefore, they're going to have to earn money. So if they aren't earning money from an entry fee, then they're going to have to earn money from ticket sales. Which means either you're going to be way less likely to be allowed into the competition if they think that you can't sell many tickets, or you're probably going to be rewarded if you sell more tickets. The reward will probably be you're more likely to win. Which is massively biased? Bias is the right word, not unbiased, it's biased. Which has a massive amount of bias behind it, and that's not what a competition should be. A competition should be fair. So, how do you get around that? You get around that by having judges. Judges who aren't earning any money from it, they're doing it out of their own time for free, like we will be this week, last week, whatever. And they will, in theory, be fair with their scores. But no one can be 100% fair about whether a band is good or not, because it's a subjective thing. There is absolutely no way of actually ranking bands. You can rank how tight they are by, you could electronically do it, but in theory of how good is a band, there's no way of actually measuring it, which means it's down to opinion. So it's still not fair. You can't enter a Battle of the Bands thinking that this is going to be a genuinely fair decision. If it's a competition for metal bands and you're entering it as a kind of heavy rock band, so you're not quite at metal in terms of heaviness, there's a very high chance that you're probably not going to win because the judges will prefer metal. It's just how it's going to go. There's no way of avoiding that. All in all, entering something like a Battle of the Bands, it is just completely random or luck as to whether or not you're going to find success in it. It's not something that you're going to go, right, we are a mint band. If we enter a Battle of the Bands, we are going to win it hands down. There's no way that you can say that. There's no way anyone can say that unless it's fixed and you already know that you're going to win, which again is bad. So, would we recommend you join a Battle of the Bands? I'd say it depends. And I'd say it depends on, is there an entry fee? Because if there is an entry fee, then that means you've got way more risk. You've got something to lose, the money. So if it's free, then probably just do it, because you're going to be playing in front of like some people. That's cool. Do that. Play in front of people. If it's a way of doing that, then yeah, do it. The only other thing that I would say go for it would be if the prize at the end of it is something that you would want. There's a few that sound good that aren't good, so I'm just going to go through them and I'm going to tell you whether they're actually good or not. If it's a record deal that's been offered, probably avoid it. We mentioned this in the other video, but a record label has to believe in you as a band. If they don't believe in you as a band, then they probably aren't going to put the money into you that you probably deserve, nor are they going to actually give you the right push in right directions or give you the right opportunities because they just don't care about you. My main recommendation in terms of a record label would be let them come to you. Let them love you and then want to work with you, not the other way around. If the prize happens to be a recording contract or anything along the lines of you get studio time or you get to go in a studio, then go for it, because if you get time in a studio, then that's great. Okay, yeah, so make sure you know who actually is going to be owning the master copies of the thing, and whether or not you're going to be tied into a deal with a label with those songs, because again, that might be a bad thing, as previously mentioned. The other thing would be, you get a video or you get a song made and we're going to give it worldwide exposure. We've had this experience before with someone mentioning, we're going to give you worldwide exposure. This video has worldwide exposure. Within the first half an hour of it being released, so it probably gets about 30 to 40 views within the first half an hour. That has had worldwide exposure, because most of you guys watching this are from like California, Texas, New York. We're from the UK, so that to us is worldwide exposure. That doesn't mean that we're super mega stars. It just means that we've reached people that aren't from this country. Worldwide exposure doesn't mean anything great. There's a lot of terms like this that you can come across, and it sounds really good, and it sounds like, oh yeah, I want that, I want worldwide exposure, I want this. But what the person means when they're saying it is they're just trying to make the thing that they're offering, which is NAF, sound better by using that. So, would I recommend you enter a battle of the bands? Yeah, if you want to go for it, you go for it. But just be aware of all of the little implications that happen along the way. Okay, bye-bye.